Krabby Patties run Bikini Bottom. So much so that it should be called Krabby Bottom or Bikini Krabby, I don't know. But what else is there? The Krusty Krab doesn't run 24 hours all the time, and they've done the takeout thing like what, once? So what else is there? People have to eat other things, so why don't I rank some of those other foods? What that means is no Krusty Krab products. The Krabby Patty is out. We don't want a top 10 filled with Krabby shit. So now that that's all said and done, let's get started. And what better way to start off our list than with possibly the only edible substance coming out of our favorite bucket. That's right, we're going there. Never forget that poor fish who had to get his stomach pumped like Carlton after chugging Will's vitamins. Of course, I'm talking about number 10, Plankton's holographic meatloaf from The Algae's Always Greener. First of all, on a purely visual level, the meatloaf looks mighty tasty. Pause, who wrote this? Maybe if it was turkey, I don't eat no fucking beef. It may look a little dry, but hey, this isn't the number one spot, is it? And look, there's a tomato, and those things are juicy. Sure, at the beginning of the episode, Plankton shuns the thought of the meatloaf, but after trudging through an existential experience, he sees the reliability of the hollow loaf and scarfs it down. Being reliable is good enough for a number 10 spot. And before you say it in the comments, yes, it is food since Plankton gets energy from photosynthesis, which I totally knew all along. Number 9 and 8 are sort of similar in nature, and the reasoning for their placement is essentially the same, so their rank is purely based on personal preference. With that said, number 9 is the Dill Pickle Swirl from You Don't Know Sponge, and number 8 is the Drinkable Sausage from Model Sponge, which is repulsive to me whenever I hear it. In those episodes, it's explained that these are Patrick's favorite ice cream and favorite food, respectively. If it's Vacuum Mouth Patrick's favorite food, it has to be worth something. No matter how disgusting it may sound. And trust me, pickle-flavored ice cream topped with mustard and bacon bits sounds a lot of sketchy. The next one needs no introduction. It's probably the most recognizable food in SpongeBob, save the Krabby Patty, so I'll get to it. The number 7 spot is going to the famous chocolate with or without nuts. The reason this is so low is because while it does look appetizing and one guy goes completely berserk over it, there doesn't seem to be anything special about the chocolate. In fact, SpongeBob and Patrick have to stretch the truth to move units, so that raises some questions on its own. Number 6 is going to Indian Ocean Seagrass from the episode SpongeBob Long Pants, coming from the fanciest place around, Fancy. I had to pick something from here since it seems to be the hot spot for all the rich fish. And since there is nothing close to an online menu, why not pick the food that's served as a special? After all, it is seagrass hand-picked by indigenous prawns, pre-chewed by local manatees, and topped with red algae. Doesn't that sound positively delectable? And literally everyone in the restaurant was eating it, so Fancy must be doing something right. At the very least, its mushy goodness gets by on its eloquent description and fancy locale. Although rich people will eat anything if you sell it right. When I looked at all of SpongeBob trying to find the best foods, obviously I had to take the movies into account. And while the taco joint from the second movie was up for consideration, there's something that stood out in the original SpongeBob SquarePants movie. So for the number 5 spot, I had to pick the triple Gooberry Sunrise. First of all, I have a soft spot for ice cream and sundaes are even better. Just look at it. It looks amazing. Look at how SpongeBob and Patrick just whiff it down without any regards to brain freeze. It almost seems addictive, and we all know that anything addictive has to be fantastic. And to pile onto the addiction, it even seems to get SpongeBob fucking wasted and spouting things he probably didn't mean. Probably. For the number 4 spot, I picked something that toed the line between what counts as a Krusty Krab product, but this is the first list I've done of this nature, so the kinks are still being ironed out. With that in mind, I'm giving the 4th spot to Jellyfish Jelly. While the jelly patty is what sent Bikini Bottom into a frenzy in Jellyfish Hunter, it was all thanks to the jelly, which is not a Krusty Krab product or byproduct. Besides, it was already in Jellyfish Jam, and in that episode, SpongeBob proclaims, "There is nothing better than the taste of natural jelly from a jellyfish." And who can blame him? Have you had natural fruit spread or marmalade? That shit is the shit. Especially when it looks like a strawberry grape hybrid. So like I said before, I had to look at all the SpongeBob properties to find foods for this list. So obviously I had to look at some video games. meaning our number 3 spot goes to Grandma's Homemade Urchin Chip Pie from SpongeBob SquarePants Employee of the Month, the point and click game. See, here you have to get Larry's shovel and pail to dig up some bus tokens, which doesn't really make sense. But to get Larry to leave his things behind, you have to get Grandma to bake her urchin chip pie, which he says is the only thing that's tempted him to cheat on his diet. And Larry is a health nut. He's all about getting swole and living like Larry. And for him to have a cheat meal? That's crazy. Only the highest quality goods can make Larry do that. And here we have it at number 3. Now I only wonder what sea urchin chips taste like. Jumping right into best frenemies, number 2 has to go to Kelp Shakes from the Starbucks of Bikini Bottom. This place was spreading like wildfire, and I truly believe that if it wasn't for that teensy little caveat of it turning you into a hideous green monster, it probably would have overtaken the Krusty Krab in terms of popularity, which is absurd coming from a drink shop. I'm assuming it tastes a little bit like blended seaweed, which could be interesting, but it's those toxins that give it that extra kick. So you might be wondering, what could possibly overtake something that had a real chance of beating out the Krusty Krab? Well, the number 1 spot is going to something that was really looking like it had the legs that caused the Bikini Bottom crack epidemic. Gotta love the 80s. It is Sandy's Nutty Butter from the episode Sandy's Nutmare. With the power of science and lard, this food was a hit. Not even one full jar of this particular sea nut butter, and one kid is already dependent on it. I guess he'll go to bed hungry again. Yeah, the episode was short, and the episode wasn't completely about the food, but the signs were there, like being able to immediately silence a crying baby. You can't tell me another food that can do that. So there you have it, my top 10 foods in SpongeBob SquarePants that aren't Krabby Patties. What do you guys think of the list? Is there something that I left out? Be sure to leave it in the comments, and I'll see you guys next week. Or the week after that. 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 Or the week after that, 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 or the week after that.